So I'm standing here with Sasha Finster, who is he has a business called MSF, which trains riders on road and off road in ADV style riding. I am Michael Branica, and I am just an enthusiast. I ride a WR450, and I just ride a lot. And we're standing up here at this beautiful location. In the trail is called Zusha, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
做色, yes.
Okay. My Chinese is not very good.
I'm still learning myself.
So we we were talking about how the scene has grown so much in the last few years. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into the scene here in Taiwan of adventure riding?
Well, we've been doing a lot of on-road trainings over the last 8 years, 10 years. And I mean, after a while, you kind of get bored with tarmac. The next thing would be racetracks, and that's also fun, like sport bikes, supermotos, that was all fun. Eventually, with me, money got tight. Going to racetracks is not cheap. And but just hanging out on the road was a little bit boring. Taiwan is a nice place. It's a big place, but it's not that big, so it's easy to do the same roads over and over again. And once the time came for my last bike, second last bike to switch, I was like, okay, how about something adventure bike style? Can enjoy on road. I don't want to go that fast anymore anyways, but I'm not limited. So switched to a Honda Africa Twin, and just realized all these beautiful spots here in Taiwan. And and just grew from there, and just went back to Germany, attended more trainings to get certified, and started to incorporate ADV trainings, off-road trainings for bigger motorcycles. We do have the occasional enduro riders who attend our classes, where we then kind of customize the training a little bit, because there are a few differences. But yeah, most of the bikes are 600, 800 cc above bikes, and it's a lot of fun here in Taiwan to ride these bikes, definitely.
Yeah, it really is. And these trails that we're on, they've been here for who knows how long.
Yes.
Some of them are almost ancient roads, really. And I realized that they were here, and I began exploring them with my supermoto. I put some dirt tires on it, and I struggled for a long time, honestly, off road, until I kind of figured things out. And then I noticed, like, while I was going through that process, you were transitioning into off road. You were getting your Africa Twin, and it seemed like around that time we started seeing more people riding big bikes off-road here in Taiwan. Can you tell us a little bit about the beginning of when people were riding off-road with the big bikes here?
Well, number one, I'm really jealous of where you live, because I live at the coast, and it takes me like an hour and a half just to get here, and you have all this playground here, so I'm really, really jealous. But no, it's about 3 years ago we started to also offer our off-road trainings, and GSs and DLs were all over the place. There were the occasional off-road riders among them, but it was really, really a very, very small percentage. And over the last 3 years, it really has changed a lot. There's still room for improvement, but nowadays you see more bikes, let's say, with more off-road capable tires on. Some are for Starbucks, but there are more and more that actually try to use them off-road. And before, it was basically all just, let's say, BMW GSs. Now people are getting more and more aware of other bikes, other brands, other models, and that they are also very capable. And so it's more mature now, I think. It's again, there's still room for improvement, but compared to 3 years ago, it was basically a big no-no. Like, big bikes off-road, just the very occasional odd person would say yes. You have that everywhere, but really, really low percentage. Now, you still get that response most of the time, but more and more people are aware that there is this possibility, and there are more and more people who actually experience it by going up with friends on some trails and getting their feet wet, sometimes literally. But yeah, also a lot of them, they attend trainings such as ours and realize that the fun of taking big bikes off road, right? And so it has changed. It's fun to see. Like before, it was really just on road. Now you have on road and you have off road. You have different levels of off road. Some who just do some mellow stuff. They bring their coffee machines, whatever, into a very simple trail and just have brunch there. And then you have people all the way to want to go hardcore, absolutely hardcore. So it's really great to see the improvement, and it's not done yet. I think there's still improvement. I think there's still there's some areas, no matter if it's trails or riding itself or level skill sets, there's still areas that we haven't touched yet. So, and Taiwan is a great place to ride off-road. It is, yeah, it's not that big, so you can basically see a lot of corners in Taiwan in a fairly short amount of time. So it has grown a lot.
I think it's really cool that here there is such a bike culture that goes way back. I've heard this called Scooter Nation because there's so many scooters and bikes everywhere. You come up here and you think you're doing something really hardcore, and there will be a scooter, back here, or more likely one of those SYM farm bikes that go absolutely everywhere. These guys are really cool. But big bikes are really new here in Taiwan. They were actually illegal. Anything above 150cc, which is tiny, right, was illegal until 2002, 2003 is when they started legally plating these bikes. People had them, they imported them on the gray market. They would throw a scooter plate on it or whatever, and they would just ride it, and the police kind of looked the other way, as many things are here. So this big bike culture is very much developing here because it's not even 20 years old.
No. And
so the whole culture in general, the sport bike crews that roll out and drag knee all the time, and then the adventure riding off road, it kind of came later, and that's why it's only 3 years old. And I think a lot of the people are migrating from enduro bikes because you have these enduro groups because they're an off-road bike. You can import them. They imported them from the 90s. There's old dirt bikes here everywhere. And then, you come to a certain age maybe, and you're like, you know what? I don't need to go hardcore all the time. Maybe I can cruise on a big bike. And so that's cool to see as well. You see a lot of older guys riding here in Taiwan. And also, unique to Taiwan is the tax on these bikes. It's so outrageous that they're between 50% and 100% more expensive than the bike is in any other country.
Yeah.
So the type of people that are riding tend to be older and have money.
Yeah.
Because you need to have money or you need to be extremely dedicated to buy something like this, because a BMW is what, 1.2 million?
Exactly.
And it's essentially a toy. Like, it's not something you ride to work on, it's something you play on.
Well, I would say for abroad, yes. Here, it's slowly transitioning into, let's say, a more mature environment mindset. But like you said, it hasn't even been 20 years. So it's still, it's still wearing kind of, diapers, right? So for example, when it comes down to BMW, it is still a lot of times a status symbol. It is just, a tool to get connected with other people. Like you said, especially these bikes are really, really expensive. So it's kind of, bosses and, high-end managers, whatever, who ride these bikes. Mostly, there are always the exceptions, but but yeah, I mean, those bikes are really, really expensive. I could buy 2 of those back home, you know, so it is. And then, yeah, a lot of people are transitioning from small bikes to big bikes, but then on the other side, these bikes will drop. They will get scratched up. Now, considering the money that you have to pay to get these bikes, a lot of people, they just say, you know what, I'm gonna stick to small bikes. You know, like it's cheaper to buy one, it's cheaper to fix, spare parts are cheaper, you know. However, Taiwan is a really beautiful place, and it is really nice because of the size. You know, you don't have to take, let's say, a whole week off to see Taiwan, right? People have been, I think the record of going around Taiwan is like 17 hours, right? Obviously you don't see anything, but the thing is, like, it's really beautiful, and doing that on a 150 or even a 250, you must be very dedicated, you know, or, you know, like, or just your butt has to be made out of, you know, solid rock. So in that case, these bikes are actually, you know, people realize the comfort and the benefits of bigger bikes, going on longer trips and enjoying off-road, right? Because, you know, that's where the difference is. You know, it's like, even for example, the 790 compared to the 1290, there is a difference in comfort, right? So yeah, people are more and more understanding that. So people are getting more aware of that. And yeah, it's really great to see that the mentality is like continuously getting more and more mature, and getting closer to what we see abroad. Still has some ways to go, but it is great to see how you mentioned, like, older guys. A lot of our students, they are like over 50. Most of our students who take our ADV class are like around 40, and just very low percentage who are like below 35, basically. And yeah, one factor is money. But then on the other side, you know, it's a different mindset. You know, like, a lot of times when you're young, you want to have something light, powerful, that you can go up 90 degrees and basically just, if you cannot make it, you just, you know, shoot it up. You don't do that with these bikes. And so it's a different experience, what I really enjoy. You know, it's like, it's less of craziness, but you still go home and you know you've done something, right? And yeah, this is something, you know, it's really cool to see here in Taiwan. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to make this too long. We will be coming out with more videos. Check out our YouTube channel, MSF Moto Skills Factory. If you search that up on YouTube, maybe you're watching it on YouTube. We have a website, motoskillsfactory.com. And we'll be coming out with more reviews, more chats about adventure riding, and we're really excited to see where this goes. And it, you know, it is really important, like Sasha was just saying, that you don't just shoot the bike up over a berm or something the way that you see people do with these lighter bikes, or that I could do with my 450, but I have too much mechanical sympathy, I think. But yeah, you can really hurt yourself. Yeah. And so it is important that you get that training that's necessary, and you experience things little by little by little, and don't go so hard so quick. Yeah. Because the last thing we need is people with broken arms who aren't interested in riding off-road again. I mean, let's face it, if one of your first times you get really, really hurt, you probably won't do it again. So we really want to see people go in one step at a time instead of jumping in with both feet, and just being as safe as possible. So yeah, check us out on online, and follow us for more content.